one example, and one of the theories behind doing a cap is that you force the legislature to reckon with the consequences of its actions, or more likely its inactions. An example for school districts, the vagaries of the market and the management of the pension fund were such that during the late 90s, a period of extraordinary increases in school aid, property tax collections, you name it, and expansion of school staffs, the necessary employer pension contribution for a typical school teacher in New York went down to virtually zero. This was a period in which it was possible to artificially imagine that your teachers cost you 10 to 15% less than they actually did. Then, in 2001-02, the boomerang effect came in, and now teachers cost 12 to 15% of salary. That's a consequence of what happened with pension funds. Now, if you were to give school districts the option on their own to do something to impose a concept such as the one the School Boards Association supports, which is to give teachers access to the kind of defined contribution pension plan that SUNY employees have, which is a very rich one, by the way, but it would at least stabilize this and allow you, or with a cap, the legislature to contemplate the true cost of hiring a school teacher. I mean, that is probably one of the single biggest factors in the recent run-up in school costs has, in fact, been the pension contribution across the state, to be fair, a really big cost which they cannot control. But it gets that much worse because of all the other political factors that go into governing a school district. There's a tremendous increase in teacher salaries, which determine the expense of the pension contribution. There's a tremendous increase in staffing across the board, which determines the cost of pensions. Those things happen during a period when the pension was deceivingly, artificially near zero. Then it comes back, everybody is bitten by it. And that's, again, if you had a cap, and if that had happened under a cap, if the cap had been enacted when Pataki did start, as he proposed it, everything else being equal, the legislature, primarily, would have been the primary body responsible for coping with the consequences of the way it has structured the teacher retirement system. Because the school districts would have said, look, we got a cap. What are we going to do? Look at this. What are you going to do about this? You want us to lay off teachers or cut their salaries? How your friends in NYSA feel about that? Or are you going to give us the freedom to change the pension contribution? That at least makes the legislature more accountable. I'm not sure that we make the legislature as a body, with all due respect for someone who actually act more responsibly, but it would force these issues to the front and force the legislature to talk about and think about things it doesn't need to now.